Hello everybody and welcome to the Shiatsu Summer School. Can't remember what session we're on number wise, but welcome to the session with me for Meridian Yoga. I'll be presenter and I'm using Cliff's account to be the host as well. Sadly he can't be with us this evening. He's not feeling very well at all. So I've had to rearrange a little bit what we're going to be doing today. So please bear with me. I had to do it a little bit last minute, but it's more or less what we were going to do, tuning into the meridians and into the point and coming up with kind of some recommendations or things that you can do for yourself, for your own practice, as well as your clients. So I'll just get this slides up. And yes, we've got Shakura in the chat. So any questions, pop them in there and I'll leave a little bit of time at the end and we can go through some things. Hopefully I can answer them for you. So I'll just put the slides up. Oh, and it's lovely. Thank you. Yes, hello everybody. I can see you're from all over the world, which is wonderful. So, and I'll say get well to Cliff too. Thank you. So I will just share these slides. Here we are. So here, yes, Connections, the summer school. So Meridian Yoga. With me, Cat Westwood. So I'll just tell you a tiny bit. I don't want to bore you too much about myself. So before I studied yoga and even before Shiatsu, I trained as a contemporary dancer at Laban. I think it's Trinity Laban now, so down in London. So working with contemporary dance, but working to be efficient in your body. And from my dance training, I went on to do Japanese contemporary dance in Buto in America and then in Europe as well. And then I found Shiatsu because I wanted something that worked really well with my dance practice and body practice. And it really does support both. And I sometimes feel my Shiatsu is a dance. And from there, I met Annie Cryer down in Hastings, and she's made a college, a teacher training college for yogis, and it's a Meridian Yoga teacher training. And she works very much with Scaravelli, the Vanda Scaravelli approach. And I love it too. I've explained it once when we did the Meridian Yoga course, which is also on New Energy Work. So there's a whole course that we did not that long ago in May and June with loads more information on. I know we've only got an hour today, so I want to pack in as much as possible practically so we can really get going and experience something together. So I'll find the next slide. So I'm going to do a poll. Have you ever experienced Meridian Yoga before? More than likely, but I'll just put that up here and share that. Hopefully that's worked. I'm just about getting there with the buttons. Oh, that's great. Loads of you have. That's amazing. But some no, so have no fear. You shall experience some this evening. That's fab. Okay. So Meridian Yoga, that's a photo from when we did the Meridian Yoga course with Cliff back in May and June. What is it? Well, I don't know if it's really a thing, as in an actual label for something, but I see it, and also Annie Cryer sees it as Zen Shiatsu, particularly Masunaga's approach, coming in with his meridians to yoga. And I like to use the Vanda Scaravelli approach, and I'll go through briefly the few things that she works on and focuses on the most in her movements. So I would like to link a little bit of movement with some asanas and some movement and breath and connecting them with the meridians in the body. and I'll do a little bit of a visualization to see if we can get a little bit more internal with our experience. So before I move to the next slide, if you would like to, you don't have to write or make any drawings, but if you wish to, in a moment when we scan through the body and connect with the burning spaces, the triple burner, if you'd like pen and pencil or paper to take some notes and see what's going on for you this evening, please go and get that ready now. Oh, great. So here we are. This is a picture here of Vanda Scaravelli. She was an amazing woman, an Italian lady, and she came to yoga in her late 40s. So even when you see pictures of her in her 80s, you think, oh wow, she's so flexible, it's amazing. But actually, her yoga was about finding space in the body and creating ease in the body, so our movements become with hardly any effort in them. And then by working with the breath and with gravity, then she was able to create more space in her body and then becoming more flexible and stronger. So her aim wasn't to be super flexible and wrap her foot around her waist and toe in the belly button, but was to just create more space in her body and connect more with the breath and with gravity, rather than having a pure aim at the end. So if you do see some pictures online, don't worry, she didn't want to do the perfect yoga pose. But I wanted to share with you this lovely quote that she uses a lot in her books, and it's movement is the song of the body. So even when we're practicing yoga or shiatsu or connecting with the macaho stretches, which we could do this evening as well, that actually it's the song our body is singing as we move. And I put this nice image here of the feet with all the meridians as well. So we'll connect with some points too. But what I would like to do is tailor this whole time together with what burning space on the whole we'd all like to work on together. And then from there, I'm going to make a sequence that connects with the burning space that you'd all like to connect with and work on the most. Hopefully it's not all in three, or I can incorporate all of the burners together as well. So if you have your pen and paper with you now, this is when we can get comfortable. So you can sit on the floor or on a chair, and we're just going to get comfortable with the pelvis. Make sure the sitting bones are connected to whatever you're sitting on, so we're not sitting too far back or overarching. Really comfortable. So I imagine the sitting bones, which is the tuberosities of Isham, they're kind of like our heel bones to the pelvis, and I can feel that they take the weight, and we can allow gravity to drop through our heels of the pelvis onto whatever we're sitting on. And our spine can gently grow up towards the sky with lots of space in between each vertebrae. Oh yes, did you say a full screen? Yes, we can do that. Let me just take the slides off. I'll bring them back on in a moment. There we are. So I'll wiggle back a little bit so you can see me. Welcome. So sitting comfortably, I'm sitting cross-legged on a bolster because I like a little bit more support, or you can sit on a chair, however's comfortable for you. And we're just going to sit and let everything settle. So I imagine like water, a vast body of water, just like our bodies is made of water. Sometimes it takes a little while for things to settle, and that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay. And you can take your time to really rearrange and let your day settle. Whatever you've been doing, let it ebb away So you can just come to a sitting position, and that's all we're doing right now. And you can have your eyes closed if you wish. And I'll guide us through scanning through the body, and then we'll get in touch with the burning spaces or the triple heater. So closing your eyes, if that feels okay, or just having a soft gaze. Making sure the shoulders are released and the jaw's relaxed as well. Mine tends to get quite tight, but that's because I natter. So I'm allowing my jaw to release and shoulders so my belly can rest in the support of the pelvis. We're just going to imagine the space above our heads, feeling what's going on there. So we're not going to change anything. We're just connecting with the space slightly above our heads. Just noticing what's going on, what it feels like. Maybe it's a colour or an image or a sensation. And from there, we're just going to draw down to the top of the head. Just noticing how the top of the head and skull feels, and scanning down the back of the head, sides of the skull. So we're going down fully into the face. How does the face feel? The bones, not forgetting our brain inside our head, eyeballs, ears, tongue, and all the sinuses, all the space in our faces as well. And drawing down, focusing a little more on the spine at the top of the neck. Actually, the first vertebra comes in at the level of the ears here. So just feeling where the neck joins the head. Drawing down the neck and throat, just noticing how this feels, not changing anything at all. Allowing the breath to be natural. Focusing on the top of the shoulders, the shoulder girdle, front and back. It's nice, voluminous space where the lungs begin. And drawing down onto the chest, connecting with the heart and the lungs. Just noticing how the ribs feel and the spine feels. And then we'll just come back up to the shoulders, scanning down the scapula, the upper arms, all the muscles and skin, scanning into the elbows, just noticing how they feel, not changing anything. Into the forearms, scanning into the wrists and the palms and the hands. And then we'll come back up to the top of the chest and the back of the ribs and the sides. Just noticing how everything is. Drawing down, thinking about the bottom of the ribs and all the organs we've got in the upper part where the diaphragm is, and the kidneys at the back. Drawing down more of the spine. Just scanning and feeling what's going on. Deep down into the roots, into the huge lumbar vertebrae that we have, into the pelvis and the belly and the organs, and scanning into the pelvic bowl, all of the muscles, ligaments and bones. And then down into the femurs, these lovely legs, long leg bones that we have. Noticing what's going on. The muscles, the skin, into the knees, back of the knees, into the joint, the kneecap and scanning down the lower leg into the calf, down to the ankle, and all the wonderful bones we have in our feet. And if we're sitting on the floor or on a chair, let's just connect a little deeper than where we're sitting. So thinking about the space underneath us, going down into the ground, and noticing that space just beneath us. Lovely. You can keep your eyes closed if you like, or you can gently open them. And we can just place one hand on the chest area. We're just going to gently kind of focus in on the upper burner. So thinking about the lungs and the heart, how we draw in breath. Perhaps it's a physical sensation that you notice, or a mind one, or an emotional one, but just drawing your attention to the upper burner. Noticing how it feels and what's going on. So take a little snapshot of that. See if you can find a word or a colour, or it's a feeling that you get. We're going to come to the paper in a bit when we have gone through all of the burning spaces. So really just capture that sensation and we'll release it. And then we'll come to the middle burner. So just below the ribs where our diaphragm is and a little bit above the belly button. You can place a hand here. And we're thinking of meridians like the liver and gallbladder and the stomach and spleen. And again, perhaps it's a physical sensation or a mental or an emotional one. I mean, mental is in mind, and perhaps also connecting spiritually or further afield into the cosmos. Whichever level resonates in this area, just noticing what's going on. And taking a little snapshot of how that feels, colour, image, sound, maybe a taste or a sensation. Just capturing that, and we're going to put it onto paper in a moment. And then drawing down to the lower burner, into the belly. So just below the belly button, the dantian, and just above the pubic bone, where we have our wonderful burning space where our deep energy sits, our essence and Jing. Just noticing what's going on here and how that feels. Again, a sensation, a colour, a sound, a word. Lovely. So taking a snapshot, and we're going to collect these onto our papers, and you can do it as one image or into 3 sections, however you feel. We'll just take a quick moment to scribble down or make a note with words if that feels good for you. And then from there we'll figure out what we want to work on together. Oh, I think my upper burner needs a little attention. Great, so when you've got some sort of an idea and flavour of what we've just tapped into, I'll show you my appalling scribbles. So my upper burner was quite woolly and full and probably needs to release a little bit. My middle burner felt quite good actually, which is usually the one I have to work on the most. But thinking about it, actually my lower burner, it feels quite held and maybe a little tired, and there was a small pinch in there. So I think I would like to work on the lower burner. So I'm just going to bring the slides up again, and we'll go for a poll. There we are. So the next slide, here we are. Which burner would you like to work with, or area that we tuned into would you like to work with? I'll just bring that poll up. Here we are. So choosing one. Let's see if it's all of them and they're all equal. I'll just have to do everything at once. We'll manage to fit it in. Oh, wow. Okay. So it looks like the upper burner is just slightly in the lead there. And the middle and lower burners kind of about the same. Okay, that's great. So working more on the, oops, sorry, I'll pause that and get rid of these slides a moment. So, lovely. So we'll work a little bit more on the upper burner, creating a bit of space in the chest area, releasing and unbinding, letting the mind soften and really be anchored in the body. And the great thing is it's going to connect with the other burners, and we'll work on all three as well as we go. So if you would like to come to a lovely resting pose, I'll just take my glasses off a moment. We're going to come to lie down on our backs with the feet flat on the floor and the knees up towards the ceiling. So taking your time, getting comfortable. Hopefully you can see me. Great. We've got the good spot there. So allowing your spine to really rest in the ground and the shoulders to rest as well. And we want the feet nice and spread in the ground here, connecting to the earth. Lovely. And just allow the breath to draw in. Checking in if the head and neck is released and relaxed. We want to make sure there's no tension. If you need a cushion underneath the head, please do so. We certainly don't want any tension in the shoulders and the neck. And having the arms resting by the side of us. And to begin with, we're just going to gently allow the knees to rock from side to side. And I'm keeping my feet connected to the ground. So I'm keeping our lovely point that probably all of you know is kidney 1 in the sole of the foot here. So we're connecting to the lower burner through the feet, kidney 1, and allowing the breath to be free in the upper part of the chest. Having a natural breath. And these swings, I'm only doing small sideways movements, making sure that the pelvis is still connected nicely to the floor. We're allowing space in the lower part of the body so our breath can really draw down from the upper burner. Massaging the sacrum, allowing the spine to settle with a slight movement. Doesn't have to be big at all. Lovely. And if you'd like, you can gently allow the head to join in. I'm turning the head opposite side to the knees. Great. So what I forgot to mention, which I'm sure you're all aware of, anything that feels too far or too much or feels uncomfortable, please modify and check in with yourself. We're all intelligent human beings and we know when it hurts and when not to push anything. So please only go as far as is comfortable with anything that we do. And drawing back, allow that movement to ebb away and come back to the center, allowing the feet to really connect in with the ground and the head to come back to center as well. And we're just going to allow the knees to draw up towards the ceiling. And if it's comfortable to, you can hold the kneecaps here with the hands. If not, you can get a belt or a scarf and hold around the legs if you're finding it's pulling on the neck. And what we're going to do here is breathe in down to the belly as the knees are away. And as we breathe out, we're just gently drawing the knees towards the chest. On and out breath. Inhaling and breathing out. Always moving on the breath, not forcing anything, working with gravity, so we don't need to really squeeze. We're really working with what movement we have right now. This pose is called the wind pose in the yoga asanas for a number of reasons, to allow the breath in, to squeeze out any old oxygen, stale oxygen in the lower part of the lungs, and it also rids of wind in any lower part of the body. So it's kind of a good name for it, the wind pose. Allowing the breath in and breathing out, drawing gently the knees towards the ribs, and we don't have to draw them in too far either. And we'll just do a couple more of these. Lovely. And allowing the feet to gently drop back towards the floor. So from here, we're just going to take the arms out to the side if that's comfortable for your shoulders. If not, come just a little bit further down, or you can soften the elbows so they're bent here and resting on the floor. So feel what's comfortable. And from here, we're going to take a breath in and fill the breath down into the belly. And as we breathe out, the belly button's going to draw back, and we're going to allow the pelvis to gently tilt, and the pelvis is just going to gently come off the floor a little way. So I'm about an inch or two off the floor, and imagining my pelvis is floating up. So I don't have to squeeze too tight or come up too high and jam here, where that lovely kidney 27 point is near the collarbone. We want to really gently allow the feet to press into the ground, and imagining there's a balloon connected to the pelvis and can just gently float up. And as we breathe out, we can allow everything to uncurl. So let's go on our own rhythm, in our own breath. So we're going to breathe in deep down into the belly. Breathing out, the belly button draws back to kiss the vertebrae. The pelvis gently curls under. We're just going to allow the pelvis to draw up towards the sky. And we have our shoulder girdle and chest nice and wide, resting on the floor. Breathing out and uncurling. So go at your own pace. Seeing how far is comfortable to effortlessly come off the floor. Or perhaps it's keeping the pelvis on the floor and in contact as you tilt. Allowing any movement sideways as you float the pelvis up. Sometimes it's nice to adjust the pelvis and allow the spine to move from side to side. It's kind of a little bit spontaneous movement within the asana. Lovely. And now, if it feels okay, we can activate the hands a little bit more. So stretching out the fingers and opening the palm up towards the sky. So we're opening up heart protector, extending our little fingers, thinking of the heart meridian. Great. So allowing one more or two more, wherever you're at with this. Letting that movement come to a rest. Great. So from here, we're going to roll onto our bellies and come to all fours. So taking your time to come to all fours. Please use a cushion underneath the palm, the heel of your hand if you need to. I'm just going to check the time, make sure we're doing all right. Great, we've got a wonderful amount of time. So connecting in with the upper burner. So we want to make sure the lungs here, where lung 1 is, we want to make sure this is nice and open so we can receive this wonderful, pure ki that we have. We don't need to process it like our food. It's pure ki coming straight into the bodies. And also connecting with our heart center, allowing this to be free. A lot of the time it can get quite tight around the back, that place it's really difficult to get to yourself. So we're going to do a little bit of movement to get these areas here open so we can allow the breath to draw down to release the middle burner and also giving some energy to our lower burner. So let's come to all fours, and I'm going to allow, I'll come on an angle, I'm going to allow the knees to open a little wider and my feet are kind of touching a little bit. Hopefully you can see there. Yeah, great. So my knees are a little wider and I want to make sure that my spine is like a cosmic washing line. So my knees and my hands are like the washing line poles, and I'm gently drawing the elbows to face one another. I have a great tendency to allow them to sink forward, and it actually contracts a little bit in the front of the chest. So the inside of the elbows, there you see, as you draw these to face one another, it creates more space in the shoulder girdle at the front, keeping that lovely lung meridian nice and open. So we're going to do some cat-cow movements together. And then from here, as we drop the head and the tailbone down, we're going to allow the pelvis to draw back. And then we're going to allow the shoulders to open a little wider. If this is okay for you, stay up a little on the hands. And we're just going to roll through and allow the shoulders and face to come through first and coming back to neutral. So let's do this together and then I'll stop talking so you can enjoy the movement. So we're going to breathe into the belly. And as you breathe out, draw the belly button back and the pelvis, the tailbone can drop, effortlessly drop, allowing the gravity to really drop the head and neck and tailbone. You can take another breath here because I'm talking us through it. And then as you breathe out, we really want to, or breathing out, we want to allow the pelvis to draw back towards the heels. And as we breathe in, we can allow the face, so that lovely part, the large intestine on the nose here, on the face, drawing through. You can drop to the elbows or stay on the hands. Rolling through, opening the chest nice and wide and coming back to neutral. So breathing in deep to the belly, breathing out. Gently curling it back. We don't want to push too hard. Gently opening the heart center at the back of the mid part of our spine. Drawing the sitting bone and tailbone back towards the heels. Breathing in and rolling through. So let's do this in our own time. I'll turn sideways so you can see. Go at your own rhythm, your own breath, and just taking it as far as is comfortable, even if we only go here. And we can have the feet engaged if the ankles are tight on the front of the ankles as well. So breathing in. In your own rhythm, on your own time. Feel free to have some wiggle and spontaneous movement in between to rearrange and adjust. And And perhaps you want to change the speed, going slower or going a little more free form. Catching a place that feels great to stay in. So continue doing this if it feels okay. I'm just going to show a slight modification. So if you or any client can't get down to the floor like that, we can use a chair. So keep going, everybody, if you'd like to, and keep feeling this together. So modification, going nice and wide, toes slightly turned out, knees slightly turned out as well. So I'm kind of going for a deep sumo style bend. Hands placed on the chair in front. Same kind of thing, cat-cow. So we're going to allow the breath to draw out. And then here we can allow the face to draw forward and coming back again. It's not as huge a movement, but you get the same benefit. So gently drawing back, rolling through the shoulders and the face. Releasing the pelvis and the spine in the middle part of the back. Lovely. So if you're on the floor still, coming to a neutral pose in all fours. Lovely. So we've opened up the front of the shoulders. We're releasing gently the mid part of the back, and we're drawing energy down into the pelvis and the lower burner as well. So let's just do a few more openings in the chest from all fours. Anytime you need to sit back and shake the wrists out if that's a little much, or you can also use a pillow or cushion underneath the heels of the hands to lift, so there's less of an angle on the wrist joint. So from here, I'm going to move the knees into a parallel. So we're in more of a usual all fours into hip width apart and allowing the knees to really support us. They're coming straight up the ground into the pelvis, and the same with the hands towards the shoulders. And I'm going to engage my elbows again. I have this lovely tendency to be a bit lazy on the elbows and kind of close off the lung meridian here, but we want that nice and open so we can create more space in this part of the body. So what we're going to do is place one hand. I'm going to place the left hand a little more towards the center, engaging the elbow, and floating the right hand out to the side. So we're allowing a lovely sideways movement, and then gently drawing down and just placing the fingertips. So we're threading the hand through and placing the fingertips on the top. We're not going all the way today down to the floor. Gently opening up the middle part of the spine and the front. So it's also gently squeezing, working the lung one and opening up the heart channel as well. So we can do this on the breath, and we'll do a few times one side and then swap to the other. Only go as far as is comfortable, so if you have any shoulder or neck issues, please gently open to the side. Really doesn't matter how small the movement is. So we're going to breathe in, breathing deep down into the belly, placing the hand on the floor, and as we breathe, we're going to breathe out, placing the hand down, and as we breathe in, we're going to open up, engaging the fingers, and breathing out, gently feeding the hand through, releasing the head and neck, breathing in again, breathing out, threading that arm through. We'll do one more on this side, breathing out, and placing that hand back. We're going to do the same the other side. So padding out the hands if your wrists feel a bit sore or need a bit of movement, and place the other hand down. Breathing in, breathing out, pressing that palm. The fingers are nice and relaxed like we would have our feet on the floor. Breathing out and breathing in, gently opening the arm out to the side. Breathing out and feeding the arm through. In your own rhythm. Making this one the last one here. And placing the hands back into all fours. Lovely. So from here, we're just going to gently tuck the toes under. And again, imagining we've got a balloon tied to the waist. And if it's comfortable for you, we're going to keep the knees nice and soft and the feet soft too. We're going to allow the pelvis to gently float up towards the sky, keeping the shoulders at the front, the shoulder goes nice and wide, and we can gently pedal out the feet. Anybody who finds it a little difficult to get the hands on the floor, we can also do this on the chair. So allowing the hands to be placed on the seat of the chair and pedaling out the feet. So we're connecting the feet down into the ground, connecting with kidney 1, allowing the pelvis to be nice and open and the shoulders nice and wide, and the hands are spread into the ground. And then pedaling the feet, kind of padding them to walk us forward into a lovely Uttanasana. Really be generous with your bend. We don't need to go too far a stretch in the back of the legs, and making sure the head and neck is nice and relaxed as well. If you need to, come up a little bit, you can hold onto the legs and the knees and allow the head and neck to relax as well. Or again, holding the chair as well. We're going to soften the knees, curl the spine underneath, and we're going to allow the arms to float up in front of us. Seeing where our weight would like to be, letting the heels drop towards the ground, and floating the arms down the side. So I hope you're all doing all right so far. I'm just going to come and check in on the time. Lovely. So from here, what I would like to do, so what we haven't done is contacted the points, but I've talked us through what's being opened and what we can connect to as we go. So what I'd like to do from here is, if I'm not so blurry, that's great, is connect a little bit to our Hara, which is what I was going to do with Cliff. I was going to do a lovely Hara Diagnosis with him, and then create a sequence for him to help with whatever the diagnosis is. So actually, rather than me testing it on somebody else, let's all get in contact with our Hara with a little bit of puku, and then we'll see if it matches in with our burning spaces where we scanned in at the beginning. And then we'll just do a little bit, maybe I can demonstrate on myself what I would do with what's going on my Hara. So I'm just going to get a chair, coming to a nice sitting position. You can also do this lying down. It's probably a little bit easier lying down, but for you, I'll say sitting. So if you are lying down, rest the back on the floor, knees bent and feet nicely connected into the ground. And our Hara area is this lovely part, the belly area, which most of you definitely know. I'm certainly not teaching my granny to suck eggs. So bottom of the ribs here, and then down to the top of the pelvis, the pubic bone as well, and checking where your navel is. So we're just going to gently pad round, so up to the top here, and then gently padding out each side 2, 3 times, and then slightly below the very arrow-shaped part, we're going to drop down just below the belly button. And then we're going to go into the belly button. How does that feel? Either side of the belly button. And then just below the belly button. And again, a little deeper, just towards the pubic bone. And then out again, either side, a little wider from the last two. Either side of the belly button. And then where our hips are, we're going to see with the tips of the fingers. So this kind of shape on the hips, just connecting in here. And then placing the fingers kind of across this way. You all know what these areas are. And if you don't, it really doesn't matter. So let's just gently pad round. You might just want to use a palm and see how each area feels. So we have upper burner, so we've got our wonderful heart area, and just below it's the heart protector, and out here's the lungs. So if any of these are feeling a little quiet and empty, or quite full and loud, perhaps that's connecting to your upper burner. Then we've got the stomach and the liver, and the belly button, the spleen, that's the middle burner. And then round the belly button, the kidneys, and the bladder meridians, and also below. So that's our lower burner. And then we've got the large intestine here, and then the small intestine as well. So just seeing which area pops out for you. And if you're not sure, don't worry at all. And perhaps see, does it resonate with the drawings and snapshots that we had connected with our scan at the beginning? Mine definitely does. I've got a triple heart protector, is quite full and loud, a bit too swollen perhaps. And I think, yes, I'd go with kidney with that one. Kidney's a bit empty and quiet. Probably need a good night's sleep. It's been a long day. So I'd work with these two things, which actually works really nicely with what we've done already. Opening up the heart center, opening the chest area, and the breath deep down to connect with the kidneys, to nourish the kidneys, drawing and grasping that true key that the lungs help pass down through all the other organs. So I'd work something like this very gently to allow the energy to draw down into the belly, and some movement in the chest here. Lovely. How are we doing? We've got 10 minutes. Ooh, it goes so fast. So if you'd like to make a note if the belly area and the hara felt a certain way, we can also add this to our scan. So I'm going to put actually heart protector and then my kidney meridian. So that's my diagnosis for myself. So perhaps I could show you just a small movement standing, some asanas that I would give to myself, or if I was a client, or even for myself to go and practice at home so I can feel a little better for this evening. Please join in as well. So gently come up to standing. So I'm going to connect the feet into the ground, deep connecting my kidney 1 in, which is what I definitely need nourishing, need a good night's sleep. So spreading the toes, allowing the breath to draw deep down into the belly. And we want to make sure that the pelvis is drawing slightly down to the tailbones, connecting to the space just behind the heels, and the belly slightly engaged. I like this image that the belly button's kissing the spine in the middle here. And then drawing the hands to a prayer position. And gently taking a slight sway, so releasing the middle part of the back, keeping the shoulders melting down the ribs at the back of the body. I do like rearranging and allowing spontaneous movement to come in sometimes to yoga. Definitely helps with any stiffness or stagnation. And then from here, I'm going to breathe in, soften the knees. And as I breathe out, I'm going to shoot the hands up towards the sky. And if it feels okay, I'll stand back a bit, gently looking up towards the sky. And I'm going to engage the tailbone. So tailbone draws away and the hands draw upwards. And I'm going to dive down. So my chest nice and open, arms opening out to the side, softening the knees, softening at the pelvis at the front, diving down into a lovely Uttanasana. Soft knees, really don't have to go very far at all. You can stay here on the legs or the chair. Breathing in, I'm going to walk the hands up the legs to come halfway up, opening up the spine again and the front of the chest and drawing down, allowing the face to relax as well. And then from here, I'm going to gently place one hand like we did on the floor, and I'm going to allow one leg to gently open. So it's also opening the back and side of the ribs. Allowing each side to gently open. We really don't have to go far with the arm. We can stay quite low. Lengthening the leg if that's comfortable and there's space in the pelvis. You can also keep the knees bent. Moving with the breath, side to side, opening up the face and the chest, and not forgetting the hands either. And then allowing that to drop back down to the ground, connecting back in with our lovely kidney warm point. I'm going to open the arms out nice and wide, and it's kind of like a wheeling feeling, wheeling the pelvis underneath so we can come back up to standing, palms joining together at the top and then drawing back to our heart center. So I'll just do it once so we can do it once more together and really feel it. And I won't talk this time, and then we'll start to wrap up this webinar. I can't believe it's almost an hour. Having too much fun by myself in here, and I can feel you with me, which is lovely as well. Hopefully you're enjoying it too. So soft feet, connecting the toes into the ground, soft ankles and knees, and the pelvis can really relax down with gravity. Breathing in, and as you breathe out, softening the knees and drawing the hands up towards the sky, looking forward if it's a bit tight on the neck. And I'll stop talking now and just gently go through the movement. Then releasing the hands and the feet. Lovely. So we can come back to sitting again. How are we doing? Whew, just about on time. So if you'd like to rest on the floor, you can, or on a chair. So we've connected with our burning spaces, and we've joined the breath and the wonderful work of Vanda Scaravelli of connecting with the gravity, the ground, and allowing this effortless movement to come in. We don't have to do yoga really straightening everything. We can allow softness in our bodies as well to create more space. And we've connected greatly with the meridians too. Even if you don't know them, with each movement, you're completely moving them and connecting with them, which is what really brings me joy sometimes, when I don't have to think too much about it, but I know our bodies are quite clever and already doing the work. So from here, I would just like to, let me see, I'll just get the slides up. Can't remember quite what's next. Oh yes, that's what I wanted to share with you. So back in May and June, Cliff and I did a Meridian Yoga course, and it's on New Energy Work. So the newenergywork.com. So if you've got a free account already, or you want to subscribe, you can go in there and find the courses. And this course is through the 5 elements. So I've done some webinars with Cliff, different asanas and sequences, and also some recommendations and connecting more with some points. So if you'd really like to dig a little deeper, there's that course that's on the website there, and you can use the downloads. I've added some handouts connecting with asanas and what they're great for and what to be cautious with and all of that. So that's what this one looks like here. There's also the intro webinar where I explain a little bit more about Van der Scarabelli's work. And that's all on there. Oh yes, so next week, if you're about and you want to tap into some Taoism, we've got the wonderful Basti Deans on the 17th, same time, 6 o'clock. And he's really amazing, and I don't know how he retains so much information about the Tao, but his practice is really lovely. So if you have a chance to, please come next week. That would be really great. So from here, we've just got 3 more minutes left. So as well as saying thank you from me, I'll turn the slides off. I thought we could just do a small visualization together. If you'd like to stay on just for a few more moments. So connecting with that feeling that we got, the upper burner, I'm going to come to a visualization. So if you would like to lie down on the floor, or you can do this sitting. So getting really comfortable, and you can come to Shavasana with the legs out long, arms resting, or perhaps on the belly. Closing the eyes and just allowing these words to waft over you. And you can do this sitting as well. Just quickly find the one I'd like to find. Connecting to the upper burner. So I'll just read from this lovely book. It's one of my favorites. It's A Widening Field by Miranda Tufnell. She's a craniosacral therapist and contemporary dancer, and she collects all these wonderful words and poems together for inspiration and some experiences. So getting comfortable. Breathe into your heart and listen. Breathe out from the heart and expand. Listen as sensations or images rise and fall away through the body. Perhaps calling of whales, beating of hooves, surging of waves, of wind. Let your face soften. The weight of your brain, skin, organ, bone, spread out and rest. Rest on the beat and tides of your heart. Listen and feel how the whole body receives, reflects the heart's pulses. Sense the delicate small circulations between heart and lungs. Perhaps colour, vitality, generosity of the blood's great circulation, streaming out from the heart to the furthest edges of your body, nourishing, sustaining, and carrying away what is not needed. And the slow returning movement back to the heart, gently receiving inwards. Sense the changes between the distal and the closeness, the expansion and the contraction. Sense cadenscences, tones, rhythms of the heart's voice, and the interchange between stillness and movement. Let the beat of the heart fill through the body. Let the body listen and turn towards the heart as the earth turns towards the sun. So just allowing those words to sink in, and hopefully you're feeling a little bit lovelier and softer, so we can enjoy an evening all calm and sleep well and not so stressed. And thank you very much for coming to the webinar. And again, sorry Cliff couldn't join us and you just had me, but I hope you enjoyed it. And please go on to New Energy Work if you want to dig a little deeper and get into the Meridian Yoga course. There's loads of information there. And I'll be getting some slides and some other bits and pieces ready for the summer school, which will also be a course on the New Energy Work site. So if you'd like to sign into your account and find any of the recordings and you want to watch any of them again, they'll come up with extra handouts, and some people have added extra resources. So please feel free to pop on there and have a little look around. Email us if you're stuck. We can help you out as well. And thank you so much. I don't think there was any questions. Thank you, Shakura, for being on the chat. I hope you're doing all right as well. Oh, the name of the book. Tina, name of the book, A Widening Field, Journeys in Body and Imagination by Miranda Tufnell and Chris Crickmay. You're welcome. I think you can get it on that wonderful, hideous site of Amazon. It's not too much either, and there's lovely images inside the book too. Anyway, I shall finish the webinar so you can enjoy your evening. Have a lovely, lovely time and rest well, and see you soon. Bye-bye.